Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier with the DRF Bets Race of the Day for Thursday, April the 12th. Stakes action at Oaklawn Park. It's the Bachelor, and if you're playing the Bachelor Stakes from home, consider DRF Bets. When you sign up, you access a $150 bonus. DRF.com/join is where you need to go. Please type in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field of 3-year-old sprinters. You can access free Formulator Pass performances for this race at the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take this field in post-position order, and we'll begin with the even money favor on the morning line, Matt, the number 1 Matol. 2 gigantic wins at Oaklawn, sandwiching a runner-up effort at 2-5 in the gazebo. Was the loss in the gazebo simply a situation where it was a sloppy track and he didn't like it, or did they throw some speed at him and he came unglued a little bit?
It might be a little bit of both, somewhere in the middle, but I think I'm going to lean a little bit more toward the wet track just because it's so much different than any of his other races, with the exception of his career debut. Those other 3 races that he has in his career, of the 5, the run 4 starts back and then the sort of ones going around that sloppy track in the gazebo, they were just all really, really good. And I kind of wonder if the gazebo, by the way, wasn't a disaster. He just got beat. I wonder if that sloppy track, he just didn't love it. If you get that fast going again at Oaklawn on Thursday, he's strictly the horse to beat in here.
It was just such a weird scenario in the gazebo because Steve Asmussen also had Direct Dial, who has a similar running style, a speedy style, and he went right after that horse early, and they kind of dueled themselves into defeat, setting it up for the number 2 Born in Nixa, who really took advantage of that wet track. He is now 2 for 2 on off going, and you could say that the outlier for him was the wet track, an 83 buyer compared to his other 4 starts where he never came anywhere close to that number. I did like the way Born in Nixa finished that race up, however, and there's a good chance there'll be a nice hot pace for him one more time. Matoli's got to go from the inside post, and we know Mr. Jägermeister's fast.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about Born in Nixa, that sort of ability to sit and shut off. Let those horses go in front of you, take advantage, let them duel each other into submission, and then try to take over. The thing that sort of bothered me about this horse, I shouldn't say bothered, but stuck with me, was what you alluded to, those 2 victories in his 2 best races, in my opinion, to date, not just from a speed figure standpoint, but visually, came on sloppy sealed tracks. So I do wonder if that moves him up significantly. If he doesn't get it, is he still good enough to get the job done?
The number 3 is OL Red. This is a Louisiana bred facing open foes for the first time, coming into this race off a 2-race win streak. And while it looks like he's pretty fast out of the gate, I'm not sure he's as fast as the 1 or Mr. Jägermeister.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think he has the sort of early gas that either one of those 2 horses that you mentioned does. And if they try to go, which I suppose is really their only way to win, I think it's just a losing proposition.
So let's say the 1 and the 6 go out there. Born in Nixa really is just a wet track freak. It's a fast race track. Doesn't Supreme Aura, the number 4, just fall into a great trip, turning back to a preferred distance? His first 2 sprints were so good that Michael Stidham decided to stretch him out and run him in the Risen Star. And in the Risen Star, you could argue, he had no pace to run at that day, and he was completely overmatched. This could be a great spot for him cutting back and getting the right trip.
Yeah, if you think this is what he's wanted to do all along, draw a line through that Risen Star, he gets back to his sprint race, he can sit off of what should be a legitimate pace early on, and if he can take advantage of it, the blinkers going on is a little bit of an odd piece for me. I'm not sure. It's kind of one of those things, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Why would you put him on, especially, again, that 2-turn race? It just didn't work out for him. I don't know. I thought that run at Fairgrounds 2 back was professional. I didn't think it was anything spectacular. But again, he has that nice sort of tactical speed where if you let those horses go, he can sit and relax. And if you think that they throw it down, maybe he takes advantage.
Tin Badge, the number 5, is an Iowa bred who won his first 3 starts, but he tried open foes in his first start of the meet. He pressed the pace. He tired. He is getting Lasix. Maybe he bled in that race. Maybe he was a short horse off the layoff. But much like the number 3, OL Red, this is a speed horse facing speedier horses, or so it seems.
Yeah, all 3 victories, gate to wire fashion, and I don't think he's fast enough to make the top in here. And if they try, very similar to what I talked about with the 3, I think it's a losing sort of situation for him.
Minnesota bred Mr. Jägermeister, if you throw out the San Vicente, where he might have been overmatched A, and B, he was just carving out wicked fractions, if you throw that race out, he really has done nothing wrong. and they gave him a nice confidence booster at Turf Paradise last time out, where he won like a 1-to-10 shot should, basically drawing off in the final 16th of a mile under a hard hand ride. I think they are sending him to the front. I think he is faster than the 1, and you know something? I think the 1 is going to concede and sit off, thinking that maybe Mr. Jägermeister isn't going to get the 6.
I agree 100%. That's kind of the way that I drew this race up. Like you say, draw a line through that San Vicente, considering how fast he went, and probably was a little bit overmatched on a class standpoint. And then you're left with 5 races, 5 in the exacta finishes, 3 victories. And I agree. I also wonder, too, did the connections of Mitole look at this horse, Mr. Jägermeister, and say, well, he's probably just not as good as us, and you know what? Let's let him burn himself out because we can take this thing over whenever we want. I think that would be a very, very foolish mistake because this horse, we've seen it. Speed kills, particularly going 6 furlongs, particularly with young 3-year-olds. I think they send him right to the front and say, come and catch me.
Timeform US agrees with you. As we cue up the pace projector, they have the 6 Mr. Jägermeister out sprinting the 1 Mitole out there for the early lead. The 7 Best of Greeley is another one, kind of like the 4, kind of like the 2, that are sitting back and hope that the 1 and the 6 get involved in a torrid speed duel. Best of Greeley won over a muddy track last time out, but he's also proven over fast going. And last time out in the mud, he beat Pure Shot, who came right back to win with an 84 Beyer speed figure. So that race looks legitimate. If the pace is hot, maybe this is the right stalker at a price.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's going to be the one coming probably from the farthest back. I don't know if that's necessarily going to play out that way, but that's how I figure it's going to. Breaking from that far outside, let everybody go, try to make that one run. If they do throw it down, let's say Mitole hooks up with Mr. Jägermeister and then some of the cheaper horses also get involved. If this thing turns into an absolute stagger fest, you know this horse is in good form, you know the distance isn't an issue, and you know that he can sit and pass horses. He's one that I would want to use underneath if not bigger, if not using him on top, and thinking if I'm playing a multi-race wager, maybe he's the one that can blow it open.
Big weekend of racing coming up at Oaklawn. We, of course, have Unique Bella on Friday and the Apple Blossom. We've got the Arkansas Derby on Saturday. But in our picks in the Bachelor, you're going to go with the speed. You think Mr. Jägermeister can take them wire to window. I'm going to go to the 2 Born in Nixa, who took down Mitole last time out when Mitole got involved in a pace battle. I'm hoping it's not the wet track for Born in Nixa. He did win over fast going at Churchill Downs, albeit in slower time. I think he'll get the right pace set up. I'm going to go 2, 1, 6, and 7, and you're going with the speed of Mr. Jägermeister in Thursday's Bachelor Stakes. And if you're playing Thursday's card at Oaklawn, again, consider DRF Bets. It's a great deal, a $150 sign-up bonus for new DRF Bets accounts. drf.com/join, promo code TV150. An approximate post time for The Bachelor, 5:10 Central. Best of luck.